Hello, hello. Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm slowly getting our TikTok friends set up on the right-hand side here. I have the chart up for Friday, so how we're feeling tomorrow. We have some interesting energies, or how we will be feeling, what we will be experiencing tomorrow. Hello, hello, Jax. We have some interesting energies for Friday. I was actually writing this. Has been really nice. Thanks to Jax for the loving nudge to look at the astrology of the day through the lens of Substack. So we have Mars entering Aquarius tomorrow, and then we have a Sun Pluto conjunction. So yes, I am. I dual stream at the same time. So I'm actually just about to start. I just wanted to post my TikTok for the evening because I post at 7:30. Okay, there we go. Like, what am I doing? Okay. I'm about to go on TikTok. Okay, there we go. TikTok fam, we are live. Alive and thriving. Okay, there we go. Simultaneously. But, where should I be, here or there? What's more helpful? Honestly, it's so funny because I was just talking about this with Manny because I'm trying to figure out what feels like a better schedule. Like, I feel like this is like a larger question than what we're asking right now. I think honestly, YouTube is a short answer. Thank you for asking. Sorry it took me so long to think about it. But I like dual streaming too because it gives people access to both my platforms. And I like that I can see you a little bit easier. So hello to my TikTok side. TikTok, like, and because I'm on both, I want to be careful about my languaging right now. There's been so many shifts with the platform, right? That in its way, hi Sienna, welcome. It's great, right? But like there's a lot of shifts in terms of like lives not giving what they used to kind of give. But I like the dual streaming aspect at the same time. I think I'm gonna go down to just doing Saturdays. Saturday afternoons because I think it's just better for me and my schedule. And honestly, as I get busier behind the scenes, like it becomes harder for me to carry the same energy. And I go live Monday through Thursday 1 to 3 on YouTube. So now that I do that during the day, it's like a harder off switch. Like, I don't know if you guys get the ADHD thing where like you the appointment's at 7:30. So now the entire day you're stuck in analysis paralysis. It's almost that it's been doing to me simultaneously. So I've been trying to listen to, or not trying to, I do listen to my sacral and my Aquarian ways where I do feel the shift coming, but I don't know, with the exception of probably, or honestly just going down to Saturdays, what that's going to look like fully yet. So I'll probably have a new crowd. And then obviously with the development of my Patreon community, those people know where to find me, like you, Jax, are like already. Yeah. I'll ask your opinion about it or whatever you feel after what I said that you feels important. But yeah, it just feels like, I don't know what the shift is, but we can feel the shift in general. So welcome. Hello, player. Welcome. I appreciate that guy. Oh, what are the details with the psychic reading you're offering? So I've been doing a lot more intuitive work since we met last. I hope all is well, but I essentially have been working a lot this past year on my psychic mediumship. So if you just give me a question or a person or something to respond to in true manifesting generator fashion, I'll start to channel on that energy and call that in. And then I will send you a recording now because I am dual streaming. YouTube is on my left, TikTok is on my right. You guys get a recording of your 10-minute reading. So it's $15, 10 minutes. But obviously you guys can ask any generic questions in the chat. I always say I'm here to chat with you, not at you. Hi, Cicada, thank you. Simultaneously. So it's been fun to tap into the psychic mediumship part of things. It was funny because I actually, the other day, last week, almost a week ago, I did a dual reading with another psychic medium named Melissa, who's on this platform. And I was doing more of the human design element stuff, but inherently I'm an intuitive reader, right? It's just like I can kind of hide behind. Marianne, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. What's up in the air? I fell. Oh my God. Okay, so this is crazy, but finishing that thought. But I was picking up on a specific type of rosary beads that this woman's deceased dad wanted her to take out again. So we're gonna do it again. We'll do it again. But this is crazy. So for my YouTube crew, just to read what Marianne said over on TikTok, girl, what's up in the air? I fell off the stairs yesterday and broke both my feet. Wishing you a speedy and easy recovery. Aquarius and Capricorn rule the bones. So it's so interesting that like anytime there's like bones breaking or anything along those lines, we actually see a lot of that kind of clumsiness. We also, as I was mentioning, just before, this is before you had entered into the live, that we also have the sun in conjunction with Pluto. So it's like those fast kind of silly little mistakes that we're making, tripping over ourselves. Uranus is also in Taurus. So it's like where people feel a little bit unstable when it comes to finances and things along those lines. So that happens too. But yeah, it's those things tripping us up, especially as Uranus goes into Gemini. It's going to be wanting to take things slow and slow. Thank you, Amanda. Yeah, or your sun is opposite Pluto. There you go. So we're like even more so on the nose. Oh, on your moon. Okay. Yeah. Don't let yourself do what you have to do to make sure that you're not getting super depressed and down in the dumps. You know, just keep your mindset right too, and paying attention to that. But if you guys could like the live, if you are on YouTube, subscribe. If you're here, if you want to give me a follow, it helps other people to know that there's good things happening here. And I'm happy to do some intuitive digging in for you guys too. So I appreciate you. Yeah, I'm so glad. Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, it's like those silly mistakes. Yeah, and Jack's over on my left-hand side says, oh my God, prayers to Miss Girl breaking her feet. So she's sending you her love too. She said, my boyfriend is planning a move to the States and he's very stressed. How can I support him better? He's a Sag Sun, Libra Moon, Virgo Rising. We think he's a 1-3 man gen. Okay, I love this. So when we're talking about supporting, like any Sagittarius I know loves international travel. So I don't know if I have any other fellow Sag placements here. Sag Sun, Sag Moon, all that to say. Sag placements love to feel expansive, even if it's trips of the mental varietal, if you know what I mean. A lot of places that just feel like they want to try things different. So with that Virgo rising piece, that's where I am naturally intuitive. Thank you. I know I'm tapping in right away. I always know. But when we're looking at, you know, just kind of tapping into him a little bit more intuitively and deeper, being a Virgo rising, we're looking at his analytical mind. So especially as a man and being in a heteronormative dynamic too, he's very much that like provider, organized kind of strategic, thoughtful individual. So it's like Virgo risings, and it's so funny because I've said this a lot, maybe it was kind of him coming in, but the leaving no stone left unturned. So when you have that, right, and him leaving no stone left unturned, it's like when you have, like for you specifically, yeah, he's being so dramatic about it, mostly because of the cultural difference. Yeah, and I think about somebody, hi Chelsea, I just on YouTube, I'm doing a little bit of channeling psychic tapping in. If you guys want to test me with a name or a word in the comments below, I'd be happy just to, because I need to be excited about being here, so just give me something to work with. help me help you to help us by letting me be excited. If you want me to lock in, if you want me to send you the recording, you know where to find the link. $15, 10 minutes in the link in my bio, but I'm happy to just give me something in the comments to just get it going. But yeah, so for your Virgo rising boyfriend about moving, Virgo risings, you have to let them be anxious. Virgo placements, you have to be okay with them being anxious. I don't know if I have any other Virgo placements here that can relate to that. But essentially, they need to go through their own process for being anxious. I know, I want to marry this man. I get it. I think knowing that like you are lovingly just being there to listen, but also lovingly setting the boundaries of when you cannot take on any more of that anxiety, because you know that when it comes to moving to the States, right, there are just certain logistical timelines that you just have to wait. It's just the way that the system works, where it's like, this is when you have to have your papers in, all those kinds of things. And I think like it's also kind of assessing personally. I would look at Jax, like, where are you feeling like you have to take away his problem? Oh yeah, Amanda, I will in one moment. Thank you for your question. but I think like, are you feeling responsible to solve a problem that he actually doesn't expect you to solve? And I think that's like, yeah, it's a rush to wait. I think like you are the person, especially as the woman, there's that old Turkish proverb, the woman is the neck that teaches the head where to turn. You have to focus on leaning back into your projectorness of leading by example. Right? As a projector, it's like we want to perceive you being the expert. It's like how I describe it is like, you're not saying the obvious. It's not Merry Christmas is written in red and green font everywhere, right? It's that implied elegance. He said the emotional support isn't enough. He wants action. What kind of actions is it? And I appreciate his directness. I also feel like that's very culturally apropos. But what actions does he expect? Like leading by example, and then just kind of like just even doing like a sexy little romantic check-in of like, these are the 3 things that I did today, or this is the main thing that I did today. Hi, Abigail. This is the main thing that I did today to help this process along. Right? But there's nothing else that you could do. It's like there are certain things you're like, I don't know. Like, I don't, just because I live in the US doesn't mean that I have access to the president. Which may be a better thing. Maybe, I think for most people it's better that they don't have that. But yeah, so I think like just giving the loving nudge, just saying like, I know you're pushing me, but I can shove back just as harder in a loving way. It doesn't have to be, an argument in that way. But I would say like, just remember, I know what I'm doing. Yeah. I think just like, if there's your hands are actually tied, right? So it's like, if you say that in a phraseology that he understands, English not being his first language, just allow him to just tell him the reality of the situation. It's like, these things just take time and it'll happen, but just because you want it now, you have to, it's really for everyone right now, it's a huge lesson in patience. It's a huge lesson in patience. Thank you, KY. Kaidi, welcome, thank you. Yeah, a huge lesson in patience. So I would allow yourself to just kind of ground in that. Hello, Abigail. Yeah, new here, but interested in human design. Can you explain for me? So while I'm explaining, if YouTube, Jax, if you have any other questions about that or other things that you want me to know, let me know. Yeah, Google Translate is so helpful. I use it with my in-laws all the time. Like, I think it's just like really simple and like cut out the isms and filler words. Yeah, patience is a big thing this week. But for beautiful Amanda, if you're still here, hello. So basically with human design is an amalgamation or a combo of a bunch of different systems. So the way that I use it in my cutesy little elevator pitch, thank you, is as if you took your natal chart, your astrology chart, and your personality test and kind of made it into one system. So in human design, instead of studying just the specific sun sign or your rising sign like we do in astrology, it's all of your astrology is in Western astrology, but it's actually the study of your aura. So there's 5 aura types or energy types, as we call them in human design. And so you could be a manifesting generator like me, a generator, hello B, manifester, projector, or reflector. So if you are a generator or a manifesting generator, we make up 70% of the world. That's why like we're very industrious and we have a lot of energy and I feel a little kooky. Like that's just kind of my vibe, right? That's also my Pisces and my Aquarius. But that being said, that we make up 70% of the population. We're like the doers and the builders and the people who pick things up and put them down. And we, the multi-hyphenate, multi-passionate people who are here to do and accomplish a lot. Then we have the projectors, who are only 20% of the population. And you guys are the beautiful refiners. That's why I was speaking to Jax on the left-hand side here and explaining to her that you really are the people who just show us a more like regal way to show up in the world. How are we able to just lead by example a little bit more and really show up with grace and impact instead of trying to force things to happen? A manifesting generator will love to force, like your boyfriend, and you as a projector feminine essence. Hi, Chelsea, how are you? A feminine woman will come in and kind of have that, have more of that fluid languidity is the word I want to use. I don't think that's a real word, but it's like that languid, sexier, implied elegance, which is why one of the reasons why he loves you so much is because you're American that has that European grace to you for many different reasons. Manifestors, you're more, hi Nev, how are you? It's a way of being, yes. Implied elegance. It's like, that's the best way I can describe like my non-sacrals, my manifestors, my reflectors, and my projectors. It's implied elegance. Manifesting generator and generators more in your face. you know, reflectors like beautiful Neff here are only 1% of the population. So you guys are here to reflect back to us how we're doing as a society, how we can improve life around us. And who'd I forget? Manifestors are more of like they don't really realize how much impact they have, but they are the people who are like you either love them or you hate them. There's no in between. So if you have people like that in your life that you're like, I respect, and we just had friends over that were, because we live in a mountain area and there's a lot of skiing around us. And so we had friends that came and were skiing, and they just came and they left about 45 minutes ago before I hopped on this live. And we were talking about a mutual person that we knew, and our friend Trina was like, yeah, you know, it's like, I like that she just tells it like it is. And like, you either get on board or she's not your train. And that's a perfect way to describe a manifestor. So I don't know, Amanda, if you know your energy type. Yeah, it was a fun time. I didn't go skiing with them today or snowboarding, but it's on my list of things to do because we've lived here for a while now, and I have not yet taken advantage of our skiing around here. So yeah, I have a free, if you want to run your chart and let me know, Amanda, if you go to the link in my profile, you'll see it says create your chart. And if you do that, you could do it quickly and then let me know what your energy type is, and I can go a little bit deeper with you to kind of help you. I don't know. I'm also open. Like, I'm thinking about making these like just like general life advice. I feel like I have so much wisdom that I can give you that also extends outside of the lens of human design, just because I've been around for a while in terms of like, I've done a lot in a very short period of time. So I'm like, that always kind of comes through. I think you guys can feel that as you have reflected back to me. But I'm like, maybe just hotlines in general versus that. But I feel like I have an answer for everything. Hi, Toby. Hi, G. Welcome. Yeah, he's a lot, but I adore him. Yeah, I understand. Hi, gorgeous. How are you? I hope you're doing good. I was thinking of you. I meant to text you the day before yesterday. Hi, Gemini. So many Geminis. Every Gemini I know, Gemini placement, sun, moon, rising, Mercury. I have a Mercury and Venus here on my left. You guys are so good at trivia. Get on a trivia team and like use that, because you're gonna help your team win money every time. Hi, Ash. Every time, every Gemini placement, you guys know a lot about everything. I'm good. I know, right? Trivia. I know, my Gemini stellium. That's why I'm like, you guys don't like, you'll have like the obscure, so our other friend that was over, Justin, is a Gemini. Hello, gorgeous. Justin the Gemini. And I relate to you guys a lot because I'm a Pisces, right? So we're both mutable, like the mutable sun sign. So it's like that we can kind of blend. Yeah, so good at Jeopardy. That's what I told him. My grandmother had to have Gemini somewhere. She was a beautiful Libra sun, but back in the 80s, she ended up going on Jeopardy and she won 3rd place. So I'm like, it's in my DNA, but I remember like a lot about very specific things. But I feel like unless it was like Housewives or something like that, like I have very, very random things that I know. But yeah, I appreciate that, Abigail. Your wisdom is unique and unmatched. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I think just like intuitively, like as an intuitive, like psychic medium person, like it's not just like channeling your grandma that's deceased, but also just like really being able to pick up on, and I'm really good at, reading in between the lines. And that wasn't something that I didn't always realize that was something that was like unique to me, or at least to people who are also fellow psychic mediums too. I have candle wax under my nail. But yeah, it's like, and even so, like it was funny because just seeing Alyssa and I read together, we have like different ways of reading where it's like, there were a couple times where she'll just keep going with the reading, and I actually feel in my people, like when I'm reading for somebody, like I know what to say out loud. Yeah, absolutely, Chelsea, go ahead. I know what to say out loud, and I know what things are not available for public consumption with my people. So if somebody asks about, like every night at 7 exactly. Yeah, I come on after, we'll watch Jeopardy together at 7, and then we'll come on to my live at 7:30 and recap whatever Double Jeopardy was. But yeah, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Oh, but I really feel like I know when to protect my people, Scorpio stellium style. So like I'm very aware of like when I'm reading for somebody, like the vulnerability that comes through in a reading. Projector, I had a feeling. So while Chelsea's writing her question about waiting to respond, and let me know if you were just wanting to know generally about that, but if there was something else, hi Guillermo, that you wanted to ask me about that specifically, Chelsea, if you're not already writing it out. But Amanda, so Amanda, do you live in a city? Because the city energy, or what is projected, haha, onto you as a projector is the opposite of what, how you should be acting. Okay, so I already love that a little bit more for you. So when you are a projector, how other people can go and hustle and grind and just ask for things, for you, it's much harder, and you get more what is it called? Pushback from offering people unsolicited advice. So for me, it's very easy for me. And even in this like regard, right? Like I'm online, and obviously it's a hotline type setting. People are expected to ask questions. But if I were to just start to go and read Abigail, even though Abigail's here, she didn't consent for me to start to tune into her. Now, you have so much wisdom, or so much like helpful judgment that you can give other people. It's just making sure that people have actually explicitly asked for it. And then reading between the lines, because there are people who I will even get as a manifesting generator that will ask for my advice, hi Tam, but they don't actually want the real answer. Hi Tara. Like people think that that I'm gonna give them the blanket, you know, TikTok cute girly version, but I'm a realist. I'm like, no, like you need a divorce, babes, divorce. Like you need that, you know, or whatever it is. And I won't necessarily say it that way, but I know how to word it in a way where it's like client therapist confidentiality. Like I'm not going to violate HIPAA in the room, even in front of a room full of people. Like I know very intuitively what the languaging is that I have to use with Abigail versus Rory versus Tara, social versus Tam versus Amanda, hello versus Lori, welcome, to protect that for people. And I don't think that a lot of people have that kind of grace. I know what it's like to be on the receiving end of it. So I don't like that. You know, I'm a Scorpio stellium, so like I like to help people while also, you know, protecting their privacy. And as a projector too. Yeah, I know. I believe it. I know when to stop. I know when there are things that it's not my responsibility to go there just because, just for clickbait. You know, it's like, I see you guys as more than just dollars. Yeah, exactly. But lurked. Yeah. Because people can see how much I can see. So you're like, whoa, like I feel that that's really intense for what she just exposed. But like, you know, I can see abuse for people. You know, I can see like there are certain things, like I know exactly the level that somebody is at and how I have to communicate to them. Like Jax, right? In your situation too, I was like, it's not my place to say break up with this person because you're not supposed to break up with this person at this time. Did it happen and did I know it happened? Yes. But there's also, if I told you like, hey, point blank, like it's too on the nose and it's not always appropriate, you know, to tell another adult. It feels a little like, I don't know what the word is, but like it's the way that I can, like it's like emasculating, but just like disrespectful to another human to try to outsmart the karma of their life. You know, it's like we can't outsmart people of the lessons that they're supposed to learn. And there's certain things that I know that if I try to give somebody or deliver the lesson too quickly that I see that they're going through, it actually will do our relationship a disservice just because I see it happening now. So I say exactly what I need to say to allow the chips to fall where I know intuitively that they're supposed to. And that, like, I'm glad that it fell into my hands. And I don't say that arrogantly, but I know that at my core, I care about people and I'm a good person. Like, I really care about wanting people to succeed and do better. And I believe that there's room at the table for all of us, but we can see how, like, that energy in the wrong hands is extremely manipulative in the wrong way. It's still the manipulation of energy, but it's like, when I leave the live, I'm not, you know, if there's something particularly impactful or stressful somebody's going through, I'll sit with that and I'll really feel for that person. However, you know, it's like when you're channeling, you like forget about it after, like I still live a normal life. I have a husband, you know, I have a cat, I have, you know, my business and stuff that I'm doing outside of here. You know, just because I see really intensely doesn't mean that you know, it's not like I'm not like the ghost watching you shower type energy. So just to put a pin in that for now, I want to read Chelsea's question, and then Rory, I'll read your question too. So I'm struggling with the passivity of it. Yeah, that's always normal, of waiting to respond. If I get an idea and execute on it, is that waiting to respond? So yes, this is the thing. Hello, Buddha. when you are in a position when you're waiting to respond, that doesn't mean that you just have to sit there and wait for things to come to you. It's literally the opposite. You get that, it's like a that's so Raven. Waiting to respond as a generator or manifesting generator is like the that's so Raven intensity. You see into the future, you've like gone so far and kind of quantum jumped into the future, and you know what you want, and then you come back and you realize that like, oh shit, like I have some work to do. And then you start to move the chips where they may like need to go to be able to co-create. So I'll use through the example of like, you know that you want to do astrology readings. You see how far and exactly where the 100% Z level, level 10 final level of that experience is and where you want to go. And then you kind of shift back into your body, and then you say, okay, I'm an Oonga Boonga human who knows what this vision is. How is it that I need to go about beep booping through my day? So I start to make these micro steps to compact the snowball, to roll it down the hill so that momentum comes a lot faster. So, when I'm looking at like, okay, I wanted to build TikTok, for example, I knew that this platform had to catch up to me knowing what I wanted it to be, which is the 17,000 followers I have with you guys right now. I have a Patreon and a private community of people. I do business consulting. I do one-on-one readings. I've worked for myself for the last 5 years. I knew I wanted to do this 10 years ago, but I needed to go through the motions of figuring it out. Now I've used a system to put into practice a lot of the information that wasn't available 10 years ago when I first started. So I needed a me then. I needed this version of me 10 years ago. So now I can be that version that I needed 10 years ago for you guys. So at least it serves its purpose to somebody, for both of us. But it's that kind of like, you have to figure out what's the micro habit. Gracias. What's the micro habit? And we're at 26 minutes. I'll crop this, like I'll cut it down so that I can make a post about this, or use this clip for, how am I trying to shit this out? I'm gonna edit it so I can post it as a post on TikTok. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, it's like that, like you can see it so clearly, but then you have to, bien gracias, Albert. You have to figure out what's the micro step that you can take hi Faith, congratulations on your move, that is gonna get you there quicker. You can be upset about the fact that other people, that, if you're just starting as a human design reader and somebody comes onto my page and they're like, oh, Brenna, I have 17,000 followers, like, I'm never going to get there. You know how I started? By when I felt that way and it felt overwhelming, I stopped and I said, the only way that I'm going to get there is if I start getting my ass up online and start posting. Because I moved and my business was in person. I had so many in-person people in New Jersey. I moved 2 hours away, right? And now I'm starting from scratch. And I was like, you know what? I want to try online now. Like, this feels like more of a robust portal. And I'm an Aquarius rising. I like to connect with people from all over the world. So that's what feels better, right? So I just really took an honest look at where I was in my life. And like, listen, you are a makeup artist. You have brides in their chair. It is so easy to piggyback off of getting those micro hits and saying like, hey, I would love to pour into you and kind of give you like a little bit of an energetic love spell while I'm doing your hair. Right? Something along those lines. It's like you have those people locked in for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, use that to your advantage. I didn't have that. I was scraping the bottom of the barrel to get people to be like, hey, I can help too. I'm over here online and I want to be able to help. Right? So it's like, you have to really assess like blooming where you're planted. And just because you see like, say like my version of doing human design really well, doesn't mean that you can't be just as impactful, but I really encourage people to like use what's already available. Like, that's how you get the quicker hit that allows you to get much further as a generator or a manifesting generator. So you need to scratch the impatience of where that's so Raven moment took you and figure out like, what's the micro habit I have to take right now to be able to make my dream become a reality. And that's what makes it happen so much faster. You have got to get out of the rumination of, oh my God, like I heard somebody say this or talk to me about this actually, about Ziggy Astrology or Chris Brennan's astrology podcast. He has so many followers, I'm never going to get there. When you're rocking back and forth talking to yourself, because that's literally how crazy we feel when we get into those moments, you have to say, you know what, where he started? 10 years ago, right? And maybe he had this podcast first and his YouTube is so big so quickly because he already is pouring people from a podcast into this platform. So it's like, this is where my Scorpio comes in handy because I'm a really good spy. Like, if I wasn't doing this, I would just work for the FBI. My dad was convinced that I work for the FBI because he has no understanding of what I do. He was like, you just travel and like you work online. Like, I don't understand. my dad being the blue collar worker that he is. But yeah, and that's where it's like you really don't live two lives. You do, but there's a way that you can start to blend it together. Do you know how many times I went into a hair salon and the environment was so fucking toxic? Yes, me too. Yes, babe. It was so toxic, and I was like, I don't want these people touching my hair. Even if this girl is nice, like, I don't want the water in the sink touching. Like, I felt like I had to go in like this to a hair salon, right? And so we feel that, and it's like, you know how much power you have in being able to say, like, I'm a bridal artist that does Reiki. My makeup artist for my wedding, because she was a beautiful Cancer. She knew that I love crystals. She brought a rose quartz crystal to do my makeup for our elopement. Like, that energy, yes, like, that would be, oh my God. You can make it an add-on. Like, how many brides would pay an extra $150 to do a 15-minute Reiki add-on, or whatever it is, you know, whatever feels comfortable. You also have to practice what pricing for your nervous system. That's a whole nother ball game, right? Or conversation, not even ball game. But like, that is a huge asset. Like, that is a need. I know one Reiki certified hairstylist in a 200-mile radius of where I live, and she's all the way down in the Jersey Shore. I literally was like, okay, the next time I go to get my hair done, I will travel. I just had another hairstylist that did my hair and I loved her. She also had a lot of Aquarius placements we did our elopement and then a post-elopement celebration in Jersey where all our family is. And I said, girl, get Reiki certified, because I want to know that the people that are touching my hair actually give a shit about me. And that's a huge asset. And even astrology, like, just to like show people, like, the stigma of the bridal industry. And listen, I've been experiencing this with my photographer, who's been so bad. I read for her. I shouldn't have given her a discount, but I did. I read for her. She's been late on every deadline. She's a manifestor that hasn't informed me about every deadline that she's missed and why she's missed them. And it's even more annoying because of her frequency. So it's like, you know how much would be alleviated in the industry if, like, that was actually taken more seriously? So there's more I could say about that. Yeah, I know. But I also, so I'll tell you guys a story. I'll give you the little chisme, and then Rory, I'll answer your question after I tell the story. Chisme is the Cuban word for, like, gossip. It's Spanish, but for, like, gossip. But basically, we eloped in Maine. Maine operates on its own specific timing, and I understand that. But the reason we eloped isn't because we were trying to take a cheap way out. It's because I have a dad who's very sick. I don't talk to my mom. My husband's family, he's an immigrant to this country, so that has a certain frequency of trying to figure out how to get, you know, not really great English speakers to a venue, all of those types of things. I'll answer that after I share the story. And so the stigma around elopements is that people are trying to get married for cheap. And that wasn't what my husband and I were doing. Yes, it helped us to save money, of course, because we're not paying for $300 plates for a venue, but it was what we wanted to do. It was still, you know, the most important day that we've had in our lives to date. So, it was clear that the event coordinator that was young in Maine, you know, I've done events for a long time. I did events when I was her age. I worked in New York City. Like, I know the drill. And so I'm not a bridezilla, but I expect that a month before my wedding, and when I'm trying to coordinate a photographer and my makeup artist that she hasn't talked to this whole time, that I need to know a timeline for the day. So there was so much delayed reactions. Like, I called, they would answer the phone and then hang it up in the office, so I couldn't leave a voicemail. Like, all these things that were just like, they did not give a fuck. And I was like, okay, I paid, like, Lady Gaga's sister got married here last year. You think that Lady Gaga and her sister got the same fucking treatment? Absolutely not. So I was just like, it's just on the principle. I treat Lady Gaga's sister, any celebrity that I've worked with in the past, I talk to them just the way that I'm talking to you right now. Everyone is a person, right? In my eyes, I treat them all the same. I was like that in the events industry. I'm like that now. So long story short, we get to the events coordinator. I said, listen, I want to talk to whoever the direct report is for you, because I understand that, like, and listen, I was also saying, like, I don't know what's going on in your life right now. There could be some shit that I don't know about that she doesn't want to share, but I just need, in our portal, the time was wrong. It was the wrong time that we originally agreed upon, but we needed more light for photos. I said, now I know that you don't work on Sundays, we're eloping on a Sunday, I need to know who's going to be there. So my vendors know who they're talking to, because I shouldn't have to do that as the bride. That's what we paid. Hello, Nora. That's what we paid for the elopement package for. So all these details, right? We get to the venue the day that we're eloping. We got to Maine a couple days early. Once I actually get all my videos, I want to make a longer video because I actually did use Astrology and Human Design to plan our wedding, and it's what made it palatable and more enjoyable than the story. But we get there, and it was beautiful. I was excited, but you could tell that like the manager that took over for her knew that I was upset about them not communicating properly. I just wanted an email. I wanted a 15-minute phone call. That's literally it. And it was like not happening. And so Cameron, who was the event coordinator for the venue, told us that she wasn't going to be there today and that day, and that Bree, her manager, was going to take over. So we get there, we meet Bree. She shows me the bridal suite. She shows us our room where my husband got ready. And we walk past the bar and I see Cameron, and like everybody in like corporate has like their profile picture like in the signature. So I see her there, and she doesn't even acknowledge us, doesn't even come up to say hi. And avoidance in that regard was a clear admission of guilt. So you knew you did something wrong and that you didn't treat us the way that you should have. And what she didn't know that I told her after is that one of my acquaintances in college got married there the month before. So I know that because I reached out to her on Facebook and I was like, hey girl, I know we haven't talked in a while, but I saw that you got married. Your pictures look beautiful. You look bomb. Like your wedding was gorgeous, but like, what was your level of communication? Because like, I'm getting nervous. Like I am my own event coordinator. I didn't need an event day planner. And I knew that like, you know, there was a certain level of like, certain people are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars at this venue. We paid the $2,500 for the elopement package, but like all you're doing is sending a couple emails, like literally no more than 2 that like haven't been sent. So she's there, she ignores us. I go to this bridal suite. I was like, okay, clocked. I walk past out of the bridal suite again to go past where they were standing to go to my husband. I see her and the manager kind of talking off to the side. And because we were getting married out of state, my husband and I had gotten legally married in the court like a couple weeks before, so we wouldn't have to transfer our license out of Maine to the state where we live and do all of that. So when I told her that, or when I mentioned that and said like, oh, we don't have any like papers that we're signing today, Bree, who was the one who took over, was like, oh yeah, like Cameron mentioned that. And I read fucking energy for a living. Like I know the way that you said it was like, yeah, I don't really understand why you guys are eloping because you're already legally married. Like it was with that energy. It was the Viewpoint Hotel in York, Maine. So you probably have been there or heard of it. So basically, you know, once all that happened, I was like, you know what? Like we had a beautiful time. The ceremony was beautiful. Yeah, I figured. So you know Cameron and you know Bree. So I was like, I'm not a review person like that. Like if it was that was shitty, but I also know that shitty people exist everywhere. Like just because it's my wedding and it's very important to me, I also am a human being that works with people. Hi, Michelle. So I know, yeah, that's fair. You were better off for it. So I know that, oh, Tara, I see you booked for, oh, that's so weird. It says 8:10, but it just came in now. I'm sorry about that. But, I'll wrap up this story for you, but hold on, it's freezing. Okay, there we go. Thank you. But long story short, at the beginning of December, we still don't have our photos back, which is like, thank you. We still don't have our photos back from, our photographer. I'm getting messages from my florist, and I get an email from Cameron. No email after the fact about hope you had a beautiful time. You know, we just left it. We were like, we won't review this place because like it was shitty, but I'm like, most people are probably not going to have this experience because they either don't care about that kind of stuff like we do, or it's just like, it is what it is. So I was like, we left, we had a beautiful time. And I get an email with Cameron. Again, never got an email of her following up saying, I hope you had a beautiful time. I'm sorry I didn't get to meet you guys. She didn't, of course, know that I saw her at the venue. And I was like, well, funny you should ask. And I was like, you know, Cameron, like, yes, our time is beautiful, but I was like, we felt super overlooked because you walked past us twice that day on premise and couldn't even be bothered to say hello to us. We literally were only there. I know. We were only there for a couple hours. Our actual ceremony from like vows start, we did the hand tying ceremony, pictures, cake cutting, and champagne was like 45 minutes. And like, again, couldn't be bothered. And so I was like, I just hope that you take this opportunity because we didn't leave a review, because like it's no skin off our back. We just never have to come back here again. But like, I just hope that use this as an opportunity to know that people see this, people acknowledge this, and to treat people with more respect than you treated us that day, because we didn't deserve to feel like that on our wedding day. You know, and she didn't know my dad was sick. She didn't know that I don't talk to my mom. Like all these other emotions that like our generation is going through with a wedding. Like I didn't elope because, you know, it was the cheapest option. I eloped because it was the least stressful, in a day that deserved to only be about my husband and I, and my family at large doesn't have the ability to not show up like that for me and make it about them in some capacity. So, you know, for my husband and I, we're the type of people that it's like on our wedding day, our family's going to ask, like, oh yeah, where is it again? What time do you have to be there? What are we wearing? So we didn't want to deal with any of that. You know, so doing it the way that we did it was to alleviate all that stress, not to have other, yeah, I know, girl. So, but she did, but all that to say, because I emailed her back and I knew she was probably like, fuck. Yeah, I love that, Tara. She was like, fuck, I shouldn't have even asked for these photos, right? I could have gotten away with this. They're giving us a free weekend to go back for our 1 year anniversary. So I was like, ChatGPT, like, make me sound, which was really my husband, but I was like, make me sound like I'll accept this, but I don't want to be too urgent about it. Like, I don't want to be too excited. But I was like, yeah, fuck you. Like, it was just like, it was so disrespectful. And the thing is, like, I have a platform. If I wanted to be a see you next Tuesday about this and literally film on my wedding day a TikTok and have this blow up on TikTok, I'm very aware that I could have done that, but I don't want to be known for that, and I deserve to be known for that shitty experience that happened for my elopement. So, you know, that was the silver lining in us sticking up for ourselves. And from one Aquarius Mercury natal chart placement to the Aquarius Mercury that's happening right now, that's kind of the energy of the moment. So, yo no sé. Oh, hold on, G. Cállate. Okay, so essentially, let me pivot over, but that's what I've been saving. I've been keeping that in the vault, so to speak, you know, for the month of December, and all this shit happening while I'm trying to, you know, film a month's worth of content in advance so that I can make sure that I have my chickadees taken care of on this app. You know, it's just all that shit. So I'm gonna graciously pivot over to beautiful Tara, who paid for the next 10 minutes of my time for this reading to pour into her, and then we'll start chatting about that after. Hi, Noli. Yeah, listen, I have more. There's more to be continued. So I keep feeling like I'm missing something, prepping for interruptions that I'm really going to need in the near future. Is that my design? So yes and no, Tara. I will say that the biggest way that I can explain the energy of what's happening right now, hi Katie, is that it feels like we're all in this kind of pressure cooker of waiting for the other shoe to drop. So even though like I'm really confident and I obviously know what I'm talking about in front of you right now, like I am not immune to this feeling that like I don't know what's about to literally or metaphorically blow up right now, but that's what it feels like. Yes, exactly. So it's a gate 28 energy, gate 38 energy. It's that fear of running out of time. So when you have that kind of energy, let me just pivot over here to pull up your chart. I have it too. And so it's really noticing like, what do you need to do to constantly remind yourself how to anchor in? What's also not helping is that being a fire sign, we have all of these energies that are coming about and you're like, oh, I'm feeling all this extra energy, either creating squares or, you know, sextiles in their different way to your Sagittarius energy. So we have all the Aries moving into Neptune. And then we also have, or Neptune moving into Aries, excuse me. And then we also have Saturn going into Aries as well. So I don't even think that, like, yeah, we can kind of predict by 50% of the piece of the pie, but it's also, I know, it's also this energy, like, I feel like you're hermiting and like, what's it called? You're hermiting and you're, like, you remind me of like a doomsday prepper energy in the best way. Like that kind of like, I'm just going to observe and I'm going to kind of see what's happening really serves you well. It's why like the introverts always win at the end of the day, because there are certain kinds of extroverts that cannot be bothered to be quiet enough to pay attention to what's going on around them. So it's like, I love when I have somebody else that's just as observational and like we're a little voyeuristic in that way, where like you were saying, like I peeped through the windows of your live. I'm like walking down the city. I'm like, I want to see what people are doing in their homes. If you don't have blinds on, that's your problem. Like that kind of energy. It's really allowing yourself to track. That's also very 44-26 of us. That's Sag meets Scorpio pattern recognition tracking. So it's what helps you to also get ahead. So when you're kind of looking at that and saying like, what do I feel like I need to plan for? I feel like a lot of it also has to, yeah, absolutely. We're always going to be a little bit ahead of the curve. I think that if you focus on knowing, hi Orlando, thank you. I know if you, my first celebrity crush was Orlando Bloom, by the way. So I love that you have his initials, which makes sense for what my husband looks like now. But essentially, it's like, what are the things that you have to, I'm also looking at your channel of judgment as well. What are the things that you share with other people to help them get ahead too? I always go back to this person that is on, her name's Andrea, she's on Instagram, and she's off_the_grid and then like something else. But if you Google that or search that up in Instagram, you'll find her. And it's like, I feel like there's a level of like your preparatory energy and your tracking, you need to see it actually influence as a manifestor the people around you. I just know, like for you, a social, right? I know as Tara that I've done my social obligation of informing people. Whether they choose to listen to what I've been saying for forever is up to them, right? But it's, I think, allowing it because you care, right? You're detached, but you are a good person at your core. You do also care about people, but it's like being firm about what you shared, but detached from the outcome of whether or not people listen to what it is that you have to say. I may have somebody, Mia, I'm just running like 5 minutes behind. So I see you booked here, but I will pivot over to you in 5 minutes. So I don't want you to think that I didn't see you. Thank you for your understanding. Me being a yapper, I was telling my dramatic wedding story. But yeah, it's also, don't tell them. Yeah, exactly. I think that there's like who are the people that you care enough about to inform in the right way, or again, to also lead by example. You know, right now we're kind of under this incarnation cross of the annual cross of the unexpected. So even more so today, if you're kind of like, I don't know what's happening. I felt like that a lot today because we have a huge thunderstorm. That's what it feels like. A huge snowstorm that's coming through the Northeast. And I don't like how the astrology maps up with that. So I said to my husband today, I was like, babe, like when you're done snowboarding, like, can you go to the store and get some like extra jugs of water and like things like that? I literally ordered, these are the pillars, the candles that I got for our wedding, but I reordered the same ones because they're like hurricane candles. They last for a really long time. I think it's like 72 hours of burn time for one candle. So just kind of doing the proper things to, thank you, Boricua, to, excuse me, to me burping at the same time, to feel like you have to prepare or feel like you can prepare for whatever it is that's upcoming. So I think like kind of taking a step back, and instead of feeling like you don't know what it is that is coming down the pipeline, you know, I think for a while people thought it was like fleeing the country, you know, which understandably so had its own understanding of why it should be that way. If we look at the way historically leaders and history of certain types of leaders repeats itself, again, me making sure that I'm speaking in my cryptic but not so cryptic languaging to make sure I still have a place to talk to you guys on. But it is a lot of that too. I think also, you know, for us being defined spleen folks, we're also looking at like teaching people when it's appropriate to be nervous. And I think that there is with all of this Aries, it's like we have all this energy, but we don't know where it's going to go yet because the planets actually have to shift there. Yeah, I consciously chose to stay and fight last November. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that people need to know that like when you get offline, when you stop watching the news, when you stop watching the news, you realize that there's a lot more people that actually have a much more well-rounded sense of the way that the world actually works than you'll surprise yourself that way. Online, and the people that are vocal and brave enough to share how they feel online is a much more smaller pool than the reality of the people that exist within our community, and allow people to surprise you when you clock offline. I was saying that I feel like a lot of what's going to happen this year is that, and I know I see it even within myself, there's going to be a shift of people who are treating their app time, people who are treating their app time like the computer room, when I was a kid, I used to have to go and I had to share a computer with my dad, my mom, and my brother, of course, my little brother. But I had to go and I only could be on the computer for specific periods of time. So like using that, yeah, exactly. Well, like, or be intentional about it. If it's, I'm online a lot, but I know what I'm doing when I'm online. Today, I'm going to have high screen time because I'm on live with you guys tonight. I'm online, but I'm doing something that's important to me. I'm not doom scrolling and looking at what every other, person is doing and obsessing about the weather. So for you, Tara, in the last minute or so that I have you, before I pivot over into beautiful Mia here, I encourage you to start to find an outlet for your activism a little bit more. I think that when we sit in the ivory tower for too long, it becomes a fortress that like can't actually help the people that truly want to be helped, right? And I don't say that to be like condescending to what you're doing. Obviously you are helping people, in your corner of the world, but I think more of that like fear and anxiety when you know what to do is like it needs an outlet. It needs to go somewhere else. And I think that you it's funny because like I feel like I want to talk about confidence. I feel like there's a level of like whatever you need to do to feel more confident, and maybe confidence equates to just physical safety. You don't need to be the loudest in the room yelling or the loudest protester in the street to be just as valid in your activism. And I think that there is, because of like a generational cue, I think that there's always like there's room for both. But I think that like I always say that the people who are in the front lines in battle are just as important as the nurses who need to be there to help them clean their wounds after the fact, right? So it's like kind of thinking about like if we talk about the Holocaust and how the people that were like that housed Anne Frank also had to have their places safe and be made known for that. So it also kind of just, I know that in just me saying that, I'm planting an intuitive seed that I don't necessarily have to know what I'm talking about right now in full circle. I love that. Yeah, I think that there is a huge need for that. And listen, you have me in Patreon. It's a quieter space. It's a more private space. You can DM me privately. That's what you pay for, right? In addition to these kinds of readings. So use that. If you have any questions or ways that you want to talk a little bit more candidly that this portal doesn't allow for, you have that. You have me there for that. Ask the questions. Anything that feels like, even if it's a question that's not necessarily relatable to human design, again, I guarantee I have some variation of an answer. So I will leave you with that for now, my dear. I'm excited for the tinctures and whatever that looks like for you. And thank you for being you. Thank you for being here. And you need to figure out a way to share more of your beautiful bad self with the world. I know that's true. You're welcome. I know that's right. Okay, so beautiful Mia. Let me know. Give me a wave. Give me some emoji in the chat. Human design and anything related to business. Oh, I love this. I've been getting so many Australians, which I love. So hello, Australia. Hi, gorgeous. Oh, we have matching emojis. I love this. So let me bring up your human design as we're chatting here. In response to, it's going to be an email from Calendly. I'm going to email you a copy of your reading. So you're going to have this to refer back to again and again. We're at the 52-minute marker. And hello from the future. Hi, Anna. I think it's the beginning of the day for you. But yes, down under, exactly. So when we're looking just at your human design alone, I get a lot of, oh yay, okay, I love that. Okay, all my Australians, I love this. Okay, so this app is turning into my Australian connection. That makes so much sense as I go into my 9th house perfection year. But basically, as a beautiful Sagittarius, right, and being very mutable, Tara, who I also read for, is a Sagittarius as well. So Sagittarians are kind of like the unofficial, like superstar. Like Zara Larson is a beautiful Sagittarius. She was slept on for a while until she's like, you know what? I really need to just embrace the full embodiment of my Lisa Frank glory. Hi, Megan. How are you? I missed you. My Lisa Frank glory. Hello, I'm a Sagittarius. Here I am. Like that kind of energy. Happy almost birthday, Megan. So we're looking at that kind of energy for you. So I want you to focus on, for you, Mia, like for business, like where are you ready to just take up space? Where are you allowed to be seen? I also feel like this is channeled for you too, because I've been saying this to a select group of people, that it's safe to be seen by people who don't understand you. And I also feel like there's a very specific kind of judgmental attitude that comes from the spiritual community in Australia. I don't know if that's just because of the specific energy that I've been personally exposed to when it comes to Australian spirituality. But I feel like that's been a big theme that has kind of come up as of late. And I don't know, I feel like I can just let the chips lie where they do in saying that. But I see that for sure. So unregulated. Okay, well, listen, girl, you're a projector. If anyone's gonna create regulation for the field, like, that's you. So I really encourage you, just because people tell you that they have good intentions, don't trust them unless you have your intellectual property trademarked. I literally had somebody that was like all over me, loved me, was in my lives all the time, telling me how great I am. The second that I set a boundary and I didn't want to keep talking about in my chat the constant, hi Brianna, the constant, woe is me, this is why I can't get ahead, energy, she took me off her website, found somebody with 2 out of the same big 3 placements that I had, and ripped off one of my ideas for my co-working sessions and does that with somebody else, right? So that kind of energy is very prevalent. But I'm like, okay, goodbye, so sad. Like, it's like you don't think about that person until I have to use them in a teaching moment. That's the good parts about my Scorpio. But I know, like, that energy isn't going to go anywhere, right? So I encourage you, Anna and Mia, both 2 of my other beautiful projectors, it's that same type of energy that I want you to be aware of, but I don't want you to be afraid of it. That person ripping off my idea takes nothing from me, because nobody wants to be in a space that's run by somebody who's fucking miserable and wants to use spirituality as a way to excuse their bad behavior. That's what's given the unregulated aspect of this industry, is what's given you and I a bad rap, or those of us that are in here that actually care to do. Yay, Brianna, I love that. Because, right, you care to do a good job. So it's like, I'm not going to let somebody who is like, oh, I'm just a Pisces 3rd house, that's why I'm miserable. Like, it's like, no, you're a fucking Capricorn rising. Like, rise to the occasion. Like, buckle up. Like, I have Saturnian roots too. You know how much shit I could lay down on the floor and not get up on my bathroom floor to cry over because the shit that's happened to me. But I know that I want to be known for more than that, right? So that kind of energy is important. Ironically, spirituality, exactly. What a concept. Wow, to do better. Yeah, so girl, we're on the same wavelength. I see that. You beautiful Aries moon. Aries rising? What's your rising sign? It's the only thing I can't see. And then obviously Sag sun. Oh, it's going to have me do my little puzzle. But that to say, right? Yay, okay, perfect. I'm running like 5 minutes behind. Just so you know. So, thank you, Megan. Oh my God, hold on, this little puzzle. Okay, 3rd time was a charm. Thank you. So, Mia, I want you to monetize your intellectual power. Okay, Aries rising. Yes, Aries moon I can see from your HG body graph. As a projector, I want you to think about the term implied elegance. I was saying this before, Brianna, this is going to be helpful for you. Anna, you already know. For my projectors, I say the best way you can explain your energy is that if you want people to enjoy the energy and appreciation of the way that you show your love of Christmas, you don't go to wherever you go to get your decorations and get every green and red banner that says like Merry Christmas, right? Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. You want to do the implied elegance, right? So in even this, right? Loving nudge, right? Of like the Awakening Academy, even as a projector, I'm going to tell you right now, the way that you worded that sentence already is going to be like, oh, I'm getting pitched by a projector for something. It sucks, but the frequency of projector is there for that, where it's like, if people connect with you with enough of your languaging without you even having to say anything, I guarantee you people from this live are automatically going to follow you anyway, right? So it's like, it's not about, it's continuously showing up and making sure that your content is good enough so people feel welcome in their space and they want to work with you inherently. But automatically, and it happens to every projector that comes across my space that is Dill, and I don't say this to make you feel uncomfortable, it's just like, I'd rather it be with me than in front of somebody else. It's not as nice to be like, yeah, like I love the work that I do and this is why my work is so important to me. Your frequency is that potent that's enough. When you start to give a name to it and share, and I had another projector in here that was like typing in all capitals, and this is why I love what I do, it gives like frenetic energy, and it can be, if unchecked, what will take that, now that Neptune is in Aries, it will fuck that up for you in complete transparent languaging. So it's that kind of like, you need more of the implied elegance of like, I just believe so much in what I do that I know that if I make content, it'll be good. I had to stop becoming mutual friends with projectors in my community some of them, right? Not all of them, because they wouldn't wait for me to use my time on my phone that I have dedicated to looking at my content to allow me to consume their content. I do not want to see you DMing me or sending me a link to your content. If your content is good enough, I'm already looking for it because I care about you. But it's giving greedy when everybody knows what we want here. I'm not on here to just, share for the love of the game. That's part of it, but I'm also here because I am trying to grow my business too, because I believe in the work that I'm doing, but it comes with that confidence piece of like, okay, how do I allow myself to show up in a way? Because this is what we're fighting against. It's like everyone trying to poach other people and other people's comments and other people's lives. And so that's the haze that's over this space because of the shitty ways that other people have treated it. But it's having that confidence to know that your people will find you in your corner of the world. As a projector, it is a false sense of working smarter, not harder, because people are going to be harder and harsher, especially because you have the channel of judgment. You're going to feel and people are going to attack that energy in you even more so because, it's like that. It's elegance. I know that if I meant to find you as my spiritual mentor, I will find that naturally. But that you have to let people come to you. You have to be sexier about it. It has to be more like, I'm confident in what I'm doing so much that I know that I can pull these people in to come to me just by being confident in what I'm sharing, confident in what I'm saying. You have the left angle cross of education. So it's an academy is amazing. I love that nomenclature, but use your like a 3-step, 3 posts per day kind of system. If you are on TikTok in 2026, you have to be posting once per day. The app will so quickly take that energy. Exactly. You attract, don't chase. Exactly. Because it's the raw, what works for a generator and manifesting generator does not work for a projector, a manifestor, or a reflector. I wish that it did, and it sucks because you guys are like in the other 70%, but I cannot even tell you. I literally had somebody come into my live the other day to explain this, and also as a 5-1 profile, it's like that energy is supposed to be like, how do you ask good questions to get good information out of people? I also really encourage you to look at YouTube. I feel like TikTok, the main wave to get as many people as quickly as possible to follow your account. Not to say that there isn't the anomaly that will blow up, but I only know the anomalies. I have tracked that all the anomalies that have blew up in the spiritual space have definitive track records of using AI and fake bot accounts they can program so specifically that they're now having to go back and they're having crash outs publicly because they're not actually connecting with real people, but they were really good at mimicking real people. So I really recommend, it's okay if your pool is small right now, but when it comes to a business perspective, you can't do it the way that everybody's doing it in that way. It has to be more of a seductive invitation. And I think the best way is like, do what you can. If you can go live, that's the best way to do it. But I'm very firm. My biggest group of energy types that I help is projectors for that reason. 2 out of my 3 channels are projector-like. So even though I'm a manifesting generator, I operate very projector-like. You know what makes people interested in working with me is when they see me here. How many of you saw me reading for somebody else, or you heard me talking my truth about human design, and then you booked a reading with me because I just showed up and it was obvious that I knew what I was talking about? Right? That's projector elegance in action. So it's not, you literally can just mirror what I'm doing, but you have to take up your own space and be confident enough in what you're selling that you have to be comfortable to go up in your own platform in that way. Yeah. Thank you. So it's like, I don't say it because to be arrogant, but I say it because I know that it works. And it's like the quickest way to get like, to put people off of you in that way. Yeah, sent links or DM'd. I love that. Yes, exactly. So A+ in the branding with that, and just continue to do that. And I think like a lot of it, again, it's your Aries moon and your Aries rising. It's what's making you so impatient, right? So it's like, especially when we have Neptune and Saturn that are going to be conjunct that, it's keep the vision strong and do not be fucking worried about what anyone else is doing, because Mia will find Mia's people, Megan will find Megan's people, Abigail will find Abigail's people, right? So be concerned about blooming where you're planted. That's what Pluto in Aquarius is teaching us, how to stand really firm and growing in our own community. The grass is greener where you water it, not looking at what everyone else is doing. And it's like when you see somebody else that like has been on this platform forever, or they may have used AI, you don't know, right? Like don't spend so much time thinking about the bitterness of why people aren't seeing you. Before I pivot over to Megan, this is really important because I want to share something that happened. I had 2 clients that had gotten a human design reading with me. Oh, Megan, you booked for, okay, perfect. We have 2 minutes. Okay, I love this. Thank you. So we're right on schedule. I'll be on time. But I was on YouTube yesterday. I go live there 1 to 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And I had one generator and her projector boyfriend counterpart that joined my live. And they said like, oh girl, do I have some human design tea for you? And they told me about this projector that they booked with that said that they only work with projectors and manifestors, but it's an older woman, who knew, that they just felt like because she's older, she knew what she was doing. And I, unfortunately, because I'm 32, but I look young, people don't really know what age I am. I do get like the judgment and the stigma of like, oh, I'm going to book with the older person because Brenna, looks young, looks whatever. Like I know the judgments. I'm self-aware enough to know what some of those pushbacks are. So there's a hesitancy of booking with me for like a longer session for some people, not most people, but I know it when I see it. I know how to clock it. And so, and sometimes it's a finance issue, right? So we also have to take that into consideration for people too. But they wrote in my live yesterday that the projector that they booked with that said that they knew more about projectors spent 45, minutes of the hour session talking about how basically bitter she was and how generators are bad and she doesn't like to work with generators and manifesting generators and they're the worst energy type, not even taking into consideration the fact that she was doing for a reading for a generator, and then after the reading sent this whole folder of information. And then it came back to me that this person also follows me here. So you hate my energy type, but you like me enough to follow what I'm doing. So that's interesting in and of itself. But that frequency has no place in this industry anymore. And it's the why you're not getting attention and getting 2 likes, because what the last post that she made the same day was after that session was, your truth isn't going to be heard if your delivery sucks. So, okay, the call is coming from inside the house, right? We need to do some actual assessment. And I notice a lot of projectors, and I hate to say it, but sometimes area placements too, just allow yourself to not, anytime you feel even bitterness and bitterness or agitation or frustration that you're not getting the recognition is a sign that you need to pivot towards yourself. And the guy that had written in the chat that was a projector said, yeah, the reading was so bad that I actually wanted to disprove human design as a whole. And I'm like, because I never got a human design reading before. I was like, wait, but you got a human design reading for me? And I was like, just because Mystical Rebel is a shitty astrologer doesn't mean that I am going to now say, hey, you're also a shitty astrologer, Pam Gregory, or whoever else that I like to listen to, Chris Brennan. So I was like, I see a lot of projectors and Aries projectors and a younger generation, a little bit of Aries, get yourselves worked up into that lather. And I would encourage you, I feel like Australia, generally speaking, operates a little bit behind in terms of like the multi-level marketing aspects of like, I love the Alignment Academy, but let that be your only nomenclature that reflects back to that. Like that, well, yeah, I know, I don't hate all Aussies, but it's a very specific frequency that I don't want you to get sucked into, because as a projector, your environment is so important. And Mia, I want you to be concerned about making your environment cater to you. You're too hot, you're too cool, you're too smart to sit in shit you start to smell. And that's what I said to them yesterday. Don't sit in the shit. Don't use the outdated version of like the MLM. Like, we don't need another new I had somebody that I used to refer to, but I don't anymore, because it was like after this whole psychedelic journey, now it's not it's not this version of yourself, it's this version of yourself. And it's like, I'm all for supporting people and businesses, but we need to refine what is and make what yourself known and what's really good. So I know I'm being critical. There's probably I'm saying things that are a little bit tender, but I have an Aries 3rd house and I'm a tough love girl. I do not say these things to, let me save you from wasting your time in an area that, like, if you keep going along that way, you have to be like the disruptor in your space that does things sexier. Literally ask yourself, Mia, how do I make this sexier? How do I make it more enticing? How do I not look at what every other person is doing in this space, but how do I find joy in doing it? And that will help you win every single time. I'm not worried about what every other fucking, I don't need an app. An app doesn't interest me. I don't want to make an app. I don't need that, right? Are other human design people doing it? Yes, of course. But that authenticity is what's going to run through and through every time. But projectors, you have to do it by like making your environment, make your restaurant the place that we want to be. Don't look at the menu of what's on don't look at what's on other restaurants' menus to figure out what it is that you need to do. You can sit and channel enough on what's on the energy, what's happening in the energy, and it's delivery. It's like not putting the foot in the mouthitis kind of ism, because you have so much power that it's like you don't really need that type of energy. It's like standing in your own 2 feet in that way and figuring out what's an exciting way. Don't mention the academy in every single caption or every single live even. It's like just make your place a cool space to be so people naturally want to hang out there. And it's like we're fighting through a lot of the garbage right now to get there. So it's like I tell you this because I've been there, and I say it lovingly to be able to kind of help you. So no, it's just the writing it in the comments, and it just holds a certain frequency of like, whenever I see that, I'm automatically like, in other people's lives, don't comment so much about what it is. Like, that's why I created this academy. It's like your projection field is so strong that it's like making sure that you make it more seductive and sexier. Yeah, and I'm just saying it as like you're being in your corner of the world stereotyped as like a projector that needs to know that your presence is so strong that I want you to be worried about your content and making sure that your place is a cool space to be so that you pull people in rather than finding outside sources to like mention it all the time. It's like people like the exclusive invitation where it feels a little bit sexier, not where it's like being so much pushed away, because your frequency is so strong. Like, make sure that it's grounded in not feeling any type of way about, knowing how you can get the recognition in a good way. So I'll pause there and I'll answer some questions after too. But I'm just going to pivot over to Megan because I went 5 minutes over. I want to make sure that I was on time, and then I went 5 minutes over again. So 5 is the name of the day. But just making sure that you come from a place of empowerment. The short and sweet of it is the Australian spiritual community has a stigma in the rest of the world that you automatically kind of have to fight through. It reads in the Australian spiritual community, the general consensus, like the US has a general kind of like hive mind perception of what people perceive the US to be, which is a fucking mess, and in some ways that they're right. But the Australian spiritual community, the stereotype, right, which unfortunately people still have those kinds of stereotypes and prejudices, is that it's white women who are in spirituality who want to build a multi-level marketing version of astrology. So when it's too much of the naming of the thing, it's like, just like, let's like have a little foreplay first before we go right into mentioning it. So even though it's the first time you've mentioned it, I just say it to like nip it in the bud of like relaxingly just kind of see the space that you're in and be worried about magnetism. It's like having a nurture sequence of your people so that people want to join. So I hope that explains it a little bit better, but just allowing kind of that more seductive energy to enjoy the fruits of your labor, because you deserve the recognition. So okay, so for beautiful Megan, so getting out of this whirlwind, is it the Capricorn or the Aquarius, the gates, the new moon? Any channel messages are welcome. So a lot of it, I feel like too, right now is probably what I was picking up on in the end of, and talking about it with Mia's reading here for you, Megan, as well, is that just kind of understanding the sludge that we're fighting through. So as spiritual readers, as spiritual entrepreneurs, as people who are kind of in this industry, we're looking at what is like the cultural context in which we exist right now. So the cultural context that we exist in right now, for all of us that are online in a spiritual capacity outside of our energy type, is that there is a reoccurring sense of Christian nationalism that is happening in our country alone, right? I'm an art historian by degree, so there is a reason that there are a predominant influx of Cookie Monster pajama pants tarot card readers that are on our For You page. So I will tell you that in and of itself, because like anything that's on, and this is probably like the most like political kind of explanation that I'll say, but like the when things get big enough, they can't help but become political because of their influence, right? So I have felt like I've been growing on YouTube and pouring into this portal. That's why I'm dual streaming on my left-hand side, because I'm aware that I have my community here, but it's a piece of the puzzle, not the only one that I rely on in my business anymore, because I need to, as Clara, who's part of our community here, you guys have seen before, she's like, you have a very fertile mind, and I want to keep my mind fertile by keeping on kind of like a little bit more of the awareness of what's happening with these apps that are changing. So don't, no, it's kind of like the best way I can describe it as like an intuitive kind of metaphor is that nothing good happens after midnight. We're kind of, I feel like at like 11:50 p.m. on this app in certain ways, and it's felt that way for the last year. I think figuring out where are the other places that you need to go. I know that not only have I felt it on YouTube while still maintaining a presence here, I also want to pivot to other portals, but I'm really looking at growing in person again. I love what you did, Megan, and I think that there's a call back to the event that you did, and Abigail, I'll read in a moment. Abigail, I'll read. Yeah, I feel like I am at the 2 a.m. bar just closed down and it's sloppy. Absolutely. Yeah, like closing time has played on loop for like 5 times, but everyone's too blasted to hear the song. It's that kind of energy. Oh, I realized I didn't write down your time here. So, okay. I'll go back and make sure that I got the right time. Thank you, I appreciate that. So, yeah, I know who I want to take me home. I would go back and remember, and I think that as Aquarians, we have to remember this, excuse me, burp of affirmation. We have a good, we move very quickly. So as Aquarius placements, we have to remember that we have to go back and remember like who's in our Rolodex. I was like, oh yeah, I actually can call that person that I worked in arts and music management, like with them 10 years ago and, recount my favor, be like, oh, hey, you have a venue. I was just talking about this with Jax. You have a venue. I totally forgot about that. Like, why don't we do something together? And remember like just because like you left a job, it doesn't mean that you still can't talk to your old coworkers. If I didn't talk to my old coworkers from my last job, I wouldn't be married to my husband right now. My husband was my old coworker, right? So it's like, who is kind of in your Rolodex of people that you know that are useful to you? I feel like it's this, and this is very, this makes sense because it's Jupiter J. I literally said this morning, and this is what happens when you channel, as you know, as a fellow psychic medium, Megan, like we forget. But Jupiter retrograde is all about remembering people from our past that they were a part of our red thread of our lore that we were supposed to carry in now. If I didn't get the shitty insurance job in a call center and didn't take that when I needed it, when I was off for 3 months in between my arts and music management nonprofit job, the first job that I had after college, I wouldn't have met my husband. So if I didn't do the hard thing that I had to do then, I wouldn't have gotten the rewards that I get now as a result of it. Right? So it's funny to even see, like, I think about that in my own life and how to apply those kinds of things that have been historically true and what that looks like. I also was curious too about with your name change and your profile picture too, because I clicked on your profile the other day. I was like, who is this? And I was like, oh, or apothecary. It's Megan. But what that kind of identity shift is, and that can be a rhetorical question. Yeah, exactly. I understand. And I think that's where it's like giving okay, I understand. Giving yourself something exciting on the horizon, like novelty, is such a big vocabulary word for us. So anytime I get bored somewhere, or I get bored of an energy, or I get bored of something, like it's noticeable. Like I am like, okay, like it's out, I gotta go. Like the passion just isn't in it anymore. So figuring out like, okay, what is going to make me feel like the novelty is exciting? The novelty hasn't worn off. Your sun conjunct your ascendant, right? Or on your ascendant. So what does that kind of look like? Where am I going? What was I going to say? I would also, like, the word ancestors keeps coming up a lot for you. It's like I also think of like the masculine energies in your life more so. I feel like there's a lot of ways that you also could relate to them a little bit more than the feminine, which I can relate to in a lot of ways as a Saturn ruled person. Anytime we have a lot of planets in Capricorn or Aquarius, it's very, yeah, exactly. I feel like they're like, the altar's a little dusty. Maybe we need some food. I've been thinking about this too, putting food on my altar. So it gives me a reason to go back there quicker. Which they're like nodding their heads like, yeah, bitch, like, where are the Werthers, right? Put the chewy Werthers on there because they go bad, or they could go bad faster than the hard Werther's candy, or whatever it is, right? So it's like that kind of nurturing something, like everything is living, even as an inanimate object, right? Our crystals need charging. You know, what feels like there's a little bit, I know, girl, what feels like it's been a little bit stagnant. For you and I too. Oh, I love that. So even more of a sign. Yes, it felt like your dad. Even more of a sign to ancestors. What I also wanted to say was, Capricorn is our 12th house as Aquarius risings. So anytime we're in like January, for me, it's always a month of like introspection. I'm like, I just want to be cozy, and like it's time goes much slower. I know you're in a warmer state, but it's like just that kind of season of introspection. So whatever happens in Capricorn season stays in Capricorn season. It's kind of like Vegas for all of us, where we're like, who do I just kind of need to weed out, write out? Like I said for this year, I was like, I'm gonna be a lot more firm this year, as you guys can see. Like for me, it's like I'm much more strict about what I'm allowing in my space, and who we're weeding out quickly just on intuition alone. I see things before other people even know that they're doing them, right? So exactly. So even in that, right, it's still that, oh my God, yeah, see, that's crazy. Yeah, that's how we know that. I mean, there's so much I could say about the environment. I think I was talking about that the other day in one of my videos. But yeah, it's like, yeah. And I think about when you see things coming like that. And I think I was talking to somebody else about eyes, and how they also were at the ophthalmologist, and how like when our eyes stop working, we have to rely on our other senses to be stronger. And I just feel like there's always this constant pull to be like, you know more than you think that you do, Megan. Like, it's safe to be seen by people who don't understand you. I feel like with also having your sun on your ascendant, and like people who have their moon on their ascendant, it's like you mirror as a Leo rising. So even though Leo is your 7th house, we're about to have a Leo full moon in your 7th. It's like, how can you really like be like, at least I know I'm a good fucking person, and even if I mess up, if I'm trying, it's not like it's detrimental to somebody's mental well-being, right? If I'm reading for that person and I accidentally say it's their grandmother instead of their grandfather, like that's a course correction in that moment, but don't, in the best way, in the kindest way, like don't take yourself so seriously that you don't allow yourself to evolve as a human. Hi, Jen. I feel like there's a lot of that energy right now where it's like, people are really afraid to mess up in public, and it feels like the end of the world, where it's like, I fuck up all the time. There are many different lives. I don't even remember what it was, but I'm like, oh, I wish I said this like another way, or maybe I could have said that better. Okay, I get up the next day, I learn the next time. Okay, whatever, that person blocked me because they were upset about how I said something. Okay, right? But it's like that kind of just continuous decision making. We hear it in every real estate motivator, Tony Robbins, Mel Robbins, all the Robbins motivational speakers, but we don't exactly. As a manifestor, again, core energy, not my circus, not my monkeys. Don't be worried about disappointing people who don't understand you anyway. I feel like that applies for so many of us right now. It's like, I'm not worried about insulting the wrong people because they weren't the people who are meant to be there with me in the beginning. Because I know I don't go around looking to intentionally insult people. It's the core of like, okay, I'm going to say it. This is what I'm saying. This is my truth right now. We can workshop it, right? The 3-line energy is like conflict resolution. It's very prevalent right now, even if you don't have a 3 in your profile, but we're really noticing a lot about like, okay, what is healthy conflict resolution? Hi, Meg. Thank you. Figuring that out, that kind of energy. 6-2. Yeah. It's that you were a 3 to evolve into the 6 being on the roof. 30 to 50 for you 6-2s is always a more introspective time. It's like, what is the core body of your work that you're doing right now, so that when you hit 50, you're on the roof, or on that kind of, what's it called? Yeah, on the roof. And you're now kind of going around and finally touring and doing your full body of work the way that you want to do it. Like, you know, the Long Island medium, I'll just say that as an example. I think that you supersede that kind of energy in education in a way. it just feels, I feel like with a lot of us Aquarius placements, like we're quirky, but we're very scholastic in that way. So it's like, what's the way that you can ground right now to learn everything that you have to do to really be a scholar? And that doesn't mean that you're still not going to be, yes, congratulations. Oh yes, that's right. I'm proud of who I am and what if happy belated, or is today, I'm sorry, yesterday was your birthday. I'm sorry. I have so many people that are in the 20s that it's so funny. You think reading birth charts, I would remember birthdays, but it's like, okay, yes, Aquarius, like what's the other parts after that are actually like the data that I talk about? Happy belated 40th. I should write down in Patreon like a reminder for like the birthdays of the month or something. I feel like I've said that before, but it's on the list. Yeah, thank you. Aw, you're welcome. Yeah, it would have protected me as a child. Absolutely. And it's like, listen, like we age backwards as Aquarius placement. So I feel like that for you too. It's just kind of noticing like, where is it that you can turn the dial up on the energy a little bit more strong? Like what it feels like you've kind of been sleeping on yourself, or like if you hit, like, I feel like as and especially going through like a particularly challenging childhood, what you have now is 10 times better than what you would have expected, 25, 30 years ago, right? When you were a kid growing up and you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize that this was, I didn't even think it was going to get this good. So it's like, how do I get even better, right? And right now it's about the micro. Like I always say, like I've been saying for the Aries placements that we're switching into collectively, Neptune in Aries, or Neptune and Saturn in Aries, is that we feel, thank you, Polly, we feel this urge to run through the fog that's there, but that's the quickest way to trip over the guardrail and fall off the side of the cliff. If we kind of ground in the energy of knowing that if we take it one step at a time, that's the best way to get ahead, that's what's going to help us nail it every time. But you have to make sure that you're like, okay, I've touched the guardrail. And it's like I keep going back to the word sexy, which is so funny because of the sextile that we have to Lilith. But basically, when we're looking at that energy, it's like what just feels more seductive, what just feels like a sexier version. It's like I listen to music all the time. Like my go-to music is deep house music. It's the music that you hear when you're in the lobby of like a luxury hotel. Like that's the kind of vibe that I want around me all the time. And you can literally create that energy and that life. Like most times it's like the music I have right now. Yeah, it's for the copyright free, but it's lo-fi. Like I don't really listen to music with words during like January, Capricorn, going into Aquarius season. I'll get into my Rufus del Sol. More of my deep house. Yes, exactly. It is. It really is. I think it's very somatic too. Yeah, I love a good house music. I love that. Welcome, Star. I can't see username, so I'll call you Star. I love that picture though. But yeah, Megan, just in the, a few minutes, lucky number 13 minutes that I'm with you, I think just allowing yourself to like, January is always going to be a dilly-dallying month for you. Whatever season of the year is your 12th house is probably going to be a little bit of your dilly-dallying, to just be like, okay, this is kind of like my Christmas vacation. It just so happens that yours and I and mine fall in like the aftermath of Christmas. But thank you so much. It's that kind of allowing yourself to have the month off and just kind of say like, okay. And I'm curious for the rest of you, whatever else, like folks in here have your 12th house in different signs. If you notice that, but I really noticed that, especially with Capricorn season, like, okay, this is my time to just kind of be like, where am I? Let me do like a month-long sabbatical kind of check-in to figure out like what I want, where do I want to be? Because again, what it comes back to for all of us, no matter our energy type, if I'm not excited about it, you're not going to be excited about it. If I'm not feeling it, you're not going to be feeling it. It's going to feel awkward, right? So it's like, what is it that you really want to show up for? That's where when I hop on here, I'm like, guys, I want to talk with you, not at you, truly. Like, if I wanted to just sit here and have you observe me, like, I don't want to wait until somebody will book something eventually, right? But like, ask me something. Like, I'm a real person over here. Like, I made a flesh and bone and have a soul, right? So it's like anything that just like, you have me in like these office hours, like you don't have to just stare at me. I'm not Ariana Grande in a movie screen and Wicked. Like, I love that. Watch a movie, loved it, amazing. But like, I'm a person that actually wants to be of service as a Pisces. So like, what's the real question? I know. I wonder, that's probably such a schlep. It's like, what's in your arsenal or your toolbox so you can protect yourself? But yeah, Megan, allow yourself to, you've dilly-dallied. what is it that you really want to show up as? Is this like 2.0 version, you know, and look back, who are the people? A lot of what I want to say is, your ancestors, they want you to talk to them more. Ask them for help. I always say, you guys brought me into this world. Grandma, great-grandma, great-grandma, grandpa. You guys left me early, okay? You brought me into this world. Help me get through it. I know you'll help take me out of it when it's my time. But you guys brought me here. You all did this for some reason. So I didn't ask for this. I probably did on the other side, but I didn't ask for this. Help me, help you, help me. And the people were meant to help. So I encourage you to do that too. Yeah. Clean your altar, do all those things. Listen, it's slow and steady wins the race. Just because you're on it doesn't mean you have to run around like a psychopath emailing 85 venues to say, I'm going to do a new moon circle every month for the rest of the year, only here, and you can't talk to anybody. It's not that. It's like, okay, I'm doing what I have to do to take one step at a time, to know that I've kept my finger on the pulse of what it is that I have to do without driving myself crazy. Like when I am on my live, I've been growing YouTube. I love being on live. You know what I do to make sure that I still enjoy it? I'm on there for no more than 2.5 hours max. I close my laptop and I allow myself to miss it enough so I have something exciting to come back to tomorrow. And I know that I do it. It's just a mind game. So, okay, yeah, there you go. Okay, I love it. It's when I don't try that some of the most impactful things come through. So I'm like, okay, I just have to keep yapping about something, and I know something I'll say will resonate. Like pure water vessel here too. But yeah, so I would encourage you to just kind of think of those things, and I'm glad that it was helpful to you. Thank you for helping me help you. But I literally talked to my ancestral altar the same way. Yes, I love that. Yeah, full moon, new moon. Yeah, and it's like, I was talking about Anna I was talking to Anna about this as well. Like, just because it's an invitation doesn't mean it's the right one. Or if it's the right idea and you just need it to get a little bit of street cred to use it for what it's for a season of your life. Like, life is a game. Play it how you need to play it, right? Transactional relationships are not bad if other people are aware of the transaction. It's okay, right? Like all my clients that I mentor, we don't text all the time. They don't have my phone number. That's okay. I can still be very close to you in that way, but that's a specific type of relationship where I serve a purpose. I'm happy to serve it, but I don't need to be your mom. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's other things that you have people that are better suited, that are boundaried up in a better way that will provide that for you. Right? But I don't want to be that. Just because I can doesn't mean I should. I would have my PhD and be a very well-paid therapist in the city somewhere if I went that route, but I don't want to do that. So just kind of looking at it that way too. But thank you. Let me go back here. I know way up there's beautiful Abigail and then beautiful Rory too. Yeah, exactly. Yes, main purposes of spirituality is to reflect the time's current events and teach us how to navigate them. I believe that too. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, can you explain right angle cross of planning? Can you write down for me, Chelsea, the 4 gates that are in your incarnation cross? Just because it's going to help me know what quarter you're in, and then I can explain it to you a little bit better. But I don't have them. It's one of 4 gate placements based on your sun sign, because there's 1 through 4 roughly iterations. I think there's only 2 right angle cross of planning. I want to say that there's 37 and 40 are there too. So it's 23, 40, 37, and something else. Okay, yeah. I got it. I have a lot of that incarnation cross that I get. Okay, so the short and sweet of it for your incarnation cross, get your main gift or your greatest gift, in the words of Jenna Zoe, is the gift of skills. So what is it that you want to be shown as skillful at? So this is what happens, right? You know that you deserve recognition to be seen as skilled at something. Hi, Krista. When you're a generator or a manifesting generator, you want to figure out how to go full speed ahead. What's happening right now is that you're leaving the cycle of being known for just bridal makeup and bridal makeup artistry, and you want to pivot into something else, but you're getting your sea legs and figuring out what does that pivot look like. And now you get to do it with intention. So when this inevitably happens again, I always say, like, if there's one day I wake up and I decide that I just want to be a psychic medium, like, I'll allow myself to do that as a manifesting generator. It's just the way that we operate in that way. So what is it that you want? What's your biggest skill share that you want people to know right now? What's also happening is that in the greater scheme of human design is that our north and south node are also right on your channel of community, the 3740 channel. And so we're going in 2027 in this like new paradigm shift where basically the short and long of it is like the best way I can explain it in human 3D terms, it's a lot less complicated than I think a way that a lot of the human design rhetoric like explains it, is that we've now advanced so far from in the technological age that it's the new age of humans that are aligned with technology. So we all up until this point are understanding that tech is a tool that's using us versus us using tech as a tool, right? It's like a little bit too far, as we're kind of noticing in the anti-AI, pro-AI argument. Right, I'm all for using AI appropriately. I want to make that very clear too. Don't use AI to think for you because you don't want to take the time to learn something, right? But you have to know, if you are somebody that wants your street cred or wants to know that we can rely on you, the people 25 years from now, even before that are the most valuable is people who are not just like Chat GPT smart, but actually like book smart. Because there's going to be a counterculture of people who only adapt to that. It's like iPad kids when they grow up versus like actual people who know how to problem solve. But that is also, I encourage you to kind of look at that in the lens of your incarnation cross, thinking about what is it that you want to plan? What is it that you want to plan for? How do you want to learn about your skills better? You know, not just relying on AI, supplementing it, but not using it to create like chart readings for people. Because there's not a lot of good information on the internet that it can get right. It still gets things wrong. A lot of us know this for those of you who have tried to use it with astrology. Pick one focus at a time. Gate 9 people that I always notice, your hardest thing is to focus on like, where am I right now? And how do I make this simple? The biggest way to help you guys get out of overwhelm is to continuously ask yourself, how do I make this more simple? How do I make this easier for myself? How do I get the quickest hit and the most bang for my buck with what I know is actually going to be effective? Hi, Jay. Writing down every time you're about, this is what I was talking about. I think Chelsea, you were on for this live. And Rory was too. And I want to go back to Rory's question because I know it was good. Yeah. And I think that's the issue, is that you have to learn how to temper your patience, because I don't want to book with somebody who can't stick to one thing. Because by the time, because my perception of you is that by the time that I book with you, you're already interested in something else. And suddenly I have somebody who's doing my makeup for my wedding who doesn't want to be here, and I can feel that. And that's the harsh truth, right? That's like like I can feel that you're just kind of phoning this in, and now like this isn't fun for either of us because you're too tired, you don't want to talk to me. This is the most exciting day of my life, right? So it's like I know you've done it enough where if you've done something enough, like you can phone it in. And I know that once you're there, like you said, you're calm, that's a huge asset. But it's really being honest about like people, you can't outsmart aura. You can't outsmart frequency in that way, where when you're bored of something or like feel like some type of way about it, it's like you have to learn to get the quick hits that temper those Aries quick kind of Gemini squirrely placements in a way that allows you to grow in a sustainable way. I don't know if that was the most like clear way for me to explain that last sentence there, but my brain, I could feel winding down a little bit. But I feel like it's that you have to fight the urge to be squirrely, because no one likes to work with a squirrel. Like think about like it's like when you can't catch people, right? Okay, I'm glad. When you can't catch people, it's like the thrill of the chase is no longer exciting. Right? When we're ready for a husband, the guy that's like really cool, that's like rolls with in a BMW with like the wrong crowd, like just isn't sexy anymore. It's like, okay, that was really cool when I was like 17 and I couldn't drink yet, or like I couldn't drive. So like that guy was really hot, but it's like you've outgrown the bad boy. So it's like, how do we make this? I also can't stick to one thing, but I break down under the umbrella of human design. I do events. I'm a content creator. I love creating content. I love the creative process of figuring out what it is that my people want. At my core, I want to be of service to make the world a better place. The way that I'll always enjoy that. The way that I enjoy doing it right now is through human design, intuitive psychic mediumship, and now adding on in-person events. But I don't chase the high of like, I'm going to do in-person events now, so I'm going to scrap everything that I'm doing, because I can't do a full court press of in-person events and then still be here for you guys. You'd be like, where the fuck did Brenna go? Great, now I don't know when she's going to go live again. You know, she didn't communicate with us. Like those types of things. Like, so I just use myself as an example to kind of like express how it would be seen from the outside, or like it would be just like, it's like, okay, just like everybody else. If you type in human design on this app, there's a graveyard of thousands of people, probably not thousands, but hundreds of people that have gone through and like tried and started and they stopped. And no, you know, it's one thing to try something. It's part of the human design process. But like, as we get older, we need to take more of a actual reality check of like, okay, now we have bills to pay. There's things we have to take a little bit more seriously. And I deserve to get recognized as more than just somebody who can't be relied on. But you have to find the ways to be reliable in some way. The biggest asset that you can have right now in 2026 is being reliable, because there's a lot of fucking unreliable people out there. Literally the whole story I just mentioned with my own wedding, right, where you expect there to be a certain level of people that are aware of the impact of what a wedding means for people. Just because those people don't give a fuck doesn't mean that, like, it's like, again, you sit in shit, you start to smell. I value effort. I value showing up for people when I say that I'm going to be there. If I can't be there, I value the communication that I have with those people. You know, and I think just like you owe it enough to yourself to know, like, you understand that you're at a pivot point, and what is it that you need to do to pivot in a way that's graceful. And it's not that like you can't go back to bridal makeup or not do it, but you need to give a crucial objective perspective of like, you're not just Chelsea enmeshed with this business, but you're Chelsea as the individual working on this business, and what Lieutenant Dan, and what requires an injection of that business to have more juice, right? The reason I can keep coming back here and be creative and be on this app for 3 years is because I keep thinking about the different ways that I like to reconfigure my relationship with it, but also tell you guys other places to find me. You guys, most of you that are on here consistently, Chelsea, Anna, both Chelseas. If you have Instagram, you have me on Instagram. You're on my Substack. You're on my letter. Like, we have other portals of connection to make sure that we stay connected. You kind of see my amoeba that is my business. And just knowing that you kind of need to figure out what is it they need to do to take a step back, push back from the desk in your rolly chair and look at it objectively. So I encourage you to kind of think about like what allows you to make this more fun. Because usually it's not, I think that the biggest thing that I can channel phrase that I can say to you is I think that there's, you may be stuck or coming out of the comparison is the thief of joy moment. You know, there's other, and listen, there are, if it's money, right? It's like you don't get brownie points. If you're a bridal makeup artist, you have to not feel guilty about pitching the same quotes that other bridal makeup artists get for the industry, right? Like, I know that there are some people, because of the type of high-end weddings that they do, right? It's like that kind of energy. So I just feel like taking the time to know that you deserve to look at this for more than 5 minutes from this kind of place and think about like, how can I allow myself to pursue this next venture in a way that's fun, is going to help you to plan. And it's so funny because the wording of our incarnation cross is oftentimes the first thing that we have the most trouble with. So basically, when we go back down to it, right, with the rainbow cross of planning, it's a planning issue. And in a way, it's like, it is, but it's not. Like, you're good at making plans, but it's like sticking to the plans when they get boring, because you know you have to get the reps in is what's unexciting. But you can go back and you say, okay, I know that, let's say, in order for me to grow on TikTok, I need to post once per day, right? And if the one post per day is not fun, I have to figure out how to make it fun so that I know that I'm enjoying it, right? Right now, for me, my energy of the day, the human design ways, is what's fun for me. Hello, Adonis. And I like doing it that way, right? But I'm in the precipice where I'm like, oh, okay, I'm kind of getting creative again. Like, I want to think about, I added on perfection years. And instead of feeling like I had to have a pew-pew to my head and do all of them at one time, I'm doing them at a pace that's exciting for me to do them and in a way that makes sense. And I'm not worried about not having, you know, I'm not, letting this app dictate the terms of making me so nervous about my own life. If I wanted to be nervous about my own life and, you know, feel stressed all the time in my job, I would work in, you know, a corporate setting and, you know, immediately get paid 3 times as more than I do right now if I was working for like Big Law or something like that, or twice as more, I should say. But like, you know, whatever that case is, like I could, be a lawyer or a doctor, you know, or be a surgeon if I wanted to live that kind of lifestyle. But I think that, you know, there's still ways for you to make good money doing what you love if you are needing to understand that as much as you have a spiritual mindset, you also as an entrepreneur have to know how to have a business mindset too. And I think a lot of people look at the exciting element of it, but they don't look at like how to think strategically about the business aspect of it. And you can still think about the business aspect and be spiritual in a way that makes sure that like we can all lay our heads down at the end of the night and make sure that we're, you know, not ripping people off or cheating people. There are people who get on this app every single day. Like I said, the Cookie Monster pajama pants tarot card readers, and they don't give a fuck. Their cards aren't even, they picked up cards from whatever local store and figuring out like, okay, that's just what I'm picking up, and this is what I'm going to say, and this is how I'm going to read this card, right? But it's like, the art deserves more than that, in my not so humble opinion. So, really figuring out who you want to be in that grand scheme of things. But I digress, because I'll keep talking in circles about that kind of thing. But let me know, Chelsea, if that sparked any other questions too. But I think it's, you know, it's in the video game talk, or like how kids are always, the kids are saying now, skill issue. Yeah, absolutely. Just like giving yourself time, like having, hi, retired chef girl. I noticed, that's so funny, like certain people's usernames will stick out to me, and I noticed that I love that. I love food, so that also is always going to catch my attention. That's why I was like, if and when the time comes, like something I really would value in my life is a private chef. Not all the time, because I do enjoy cooking, but like a private chef, that would be nice. That's on my list. Gate 41 New Year. It's been good. It's so funny because even though I was just thinking about this, with Gate 41, I mean, I have an Aquarius Mercury, so like it's a big, shining a light or illuminating the throat chakra, if you will. But, I really feel much more New Year incentivized when it's the spring. I actually, as a Gate 5 person, my like innate Gate 5, that Sagittarius placement trumps any other transit. So it's like if my routine is thrown off, or like if I'm going against what the physical seasons are doing, I feel that more so than any of the external 41 transits. But yeah, it's been good. I feel like it's a really good time for everybody, because it's Gate 41 Sun, Mercury, and Pluto right now. It's really enjoyable to look at how people are like excited about life again. Like I feel like you guys all kind of feel like we're all in that mode where we're like, okay, like even though it feels like, and that's what I said in so many words in my energy of the day tonight, like even though, because Gate 41 is a gate of contraction, hi Generous, it's the energy of like birthing pains. We know on the other side of it is something, it's like a source of you know, a beautiful child that, like, as for all of us that are more that are of a parental mindset, or see it, you know, this way as more conscious people, we're birthing a child into this world that we really want to give unconditional love to. Oh yeah, you're Neptune, yes, unconditional love to. And so it's like that kind of energy. Like, how can you show up with a little bit more like unconditional love for yourself and the things that you want to birth into the world? So I feel that kind of like we're slowly waking our way up. I think like Lunar New Year is like a little bit more the halfway point, and then like come March, like for me it's like St. Patrick's Day, my birthday month. Like I noticed a lot of people don't always like March, but I always did, because I could feel that kind of like, okay, towards the end everyone's like, okay, I'm stir crazy, I want to do things again, I'm excited about it, yada yada. So yeah, but I love that Aquarius Neptune. Yeah, it'll be so interesting to see, as I started the live, or early in the live, talking about like what the actual manifestation of our Aries Neptune conjunction and Saturn Neptune Aries Saturn and Neptune and Aries. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time putting that together tonight. But Saturn and Neptune and Aries conjunction will look like in real time, because we have all these ideas, right? But astrology, I love Pam Gregory says this all the time. And she's like, you know, astrology is 50% of what could happen. Hi, Claudia. 50% of what could happen, but the other 50% of like, okay, but what is it actually going to look like once it gets here? Because I think like, you know, what a lot of people, going back to Christian nationalism, you know, being a huge thing that's being infused in our society right now. Yeah, I love that. I mean, it's so Pisces, like she's a Pisces speaking to my heart, my also very Piscean heart at the same time. But yeah, I love that. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any other questions. Chelsea, anything else that you guys want to ask me before I head out for the night? Let me know. I'm gonna see if there's any. I want to look at what Rory, your question earlier. Hold on. Oh, let me make it bigger. Yeah, haters make us famous. That's such a Leo thing to say too, but I agree. T-shirts. Okay, I don't know what. Yeah, you should have never been treated differently because you eloped and didn't have 100 plus. Yeah, no, I feel that. So Raven. Oh, okay. So do you think having a strong client confidentiality policy is an important part of business, like an overarching confidentiality? Sorry, I just got in here. I don't know what's going on. No, you're so sweet. And thank you for being so patient. I appreciate you even for sticking around long enough to have me answer that. I'm sorry it got scattered in my ADHD manifesting generator way. But yes, I think that people, there's a thin line that people don't always have an awareness of in being shocking for content's sake versus saying things that may be shocking, but people need to hear to make them do better. And I think that there's always like, we're always kind of walking that line, as like for me as somebody who's, you know, in the spiritual space as a spiritual strategist, if you will, like I'm always aware, like if I see something, you know, for me, it's the opposite of what New York tells you. If I see something, I ain't always going to say something, right? Because there's a time and a place for everything. And also like, I will be confrontational if I have to, but my knee-jerk reaction isn't to be confrontational just because people like conflict as humans. Like it's like if things get boring, people like the novelty of conflict because it has like a quick cycle time. You know, it's like what people like love the chisme, love the drama on the internet when there's some like sensationalization of something going on. But I think from, you know, the confidentiality piece, that's a part of it, but also like having a lot of Scorpio and having my moon in Scorpio in my 10th house, it also has people who come to me that have gone through some pretty deep shit. So like I won't always share everything that goes on in my sessions, you know, for that reason. Or like my one-on-one sessions for a half hour, an hour, I had people that asked me like, oh, why don't you live stream a session? And I'm like, no, it feels so invasive. Like I wouldn't want somebody to do that to me. Even if I ask them, it's like, it's not gonna let us feel like I'll ask straight up like questions like, you know, I had a woman the other day that booked reading with me and I was like, okay, straight up, like, you want to leave your job. Does your husband make like, what does your husband make? And I'm like, I don't care what the number is. Like, I am not here to judge like how much or how little you're making. Like, I just need to know the truth. I need to know the facts to be able to actually help you come up with a strategy that isn't just like, I'm not the person that's like the type of reader that's like gonna tell you the things that you could just read in a book by yourself. Like I could read you a bedtime story if you want to, but I'm much more interested in being here if we're actually creating an action plan for how you can leave this session and know that this is what you're doing to make your life better. And that it's usually two camps. Either I'm giving people the homework to pursue whatever it is that they want to pursue from a self-discovery perspective, but they at least have an action plan for that. Or I'm helping people from an actual, like, okay, I'm building my business. This is what I need to do for my business to either function better or to get it finally off the ground. So, you know, those kinds of things, I'm talking about sensitive topics and like, you know, even things that this app doesn't exactly allow me to say, you know, or like deep, dark shit that people have been through. You know, if you know about astrology, somebody that was married and isn't married for different reasons, having Venus in the 12th house, you know, that can be some pretty dark stuff that's happening. But it's like, I really look at everyone as an individual that is coming to me with their own set of unique circumstances. Even though there's red threads that run through my clients at every single point in time, it's knowing there's a time and a place, right? And I don't need to call out everything that's happening on live just for the sake of views, you know, or just because it's like, that's just what I'm getting from your grandma. Like, that's not necessary. But okay, I also know that grandma didn't have a filter in real life, so I'm also gonna keep, you know, she doesn't have a mouth. Anna, like, she doesn't. I'm just gonna do. Okay, Grammy. I'm gonna let you. That was fine when you were here, but I'm not gonna, cosplay that type of humanness here. You know, and sometimes I've DM'd people after lives when I've read for them psychically also and been like, okay, this is also what we were talking about. Or, you know, I've gotten the text messages or the messages that were like, thank you for not saying that out loud. So yes, I do think it's important. And I think, like, listen, like, but you guys know that there are certain creators that in any business, no matter what it is, like, you kind of just can tell, thank you. You can just tell, that, like, nothing is sacred, and then so you know that there's a version of yourself that you bring to that type of creator to, like, get the information that you need, but that, like, if you don't want them to know certain things, like, you're just gonna go to them for that one thing. So it's like using your own personal discernment too to say, like, okay, this person, if I need confidentiality, but this person is, like, messy and weird about it, like, I'm not gonna go to this person. So I think, like, it's the you know, and in most situations for all of us, it's like we have to learn who those people are and who they aren't. But I just, as somebody who, like, with the placements that I do, I'm always looking at, like, I know what you're saying to me out loud, but I know that I'm feeling something else, and I want to know what the nugget of that is. Right now, I've just gotten good at being like, oh, okay, this person's just, like, you know, bitter about this, or they're angry about that, or whatever. Yeah, so just being able to assess and personal discernment, I think, when booking anyone for anything is really important. But, like, I don't, the circle of trust for me is, like, I think because of my placements, it's a little confusing to people because I actually always go in with an open mind. But it's like, and this is very Pisces though too, it's like you kind of check, like, there's a checkbox, and if there's, like, okay, like, multiple times if I've said to somebody, like, I had somebody once that I was friendly with that every time I would say, like, okay, I have to go now, they would be like, no, wait 1 second, and I'm like, the more check boxes that you are pushing past that boundary that's so simple of, like, I told you I need to get off the phone, don't make me become a see you next Tuesday, because just because I said it nice doesn't mean that I'm not serious about it. And so as an Aquarius Mars, right, in Scorpio, it's like the second that boundary gets pushed and you've done it, you know, 3 times, like, I'm good, I'm out. You know, as a grown adult now, it's like I shouldn't have to explain those types of boundaries to people, and I don't, if somebody has not worked through, like, there are a lot of people that are also, unfortunately for them, used to people speaking to them negatively, night Rory, negatively a lot. So, like, if I as an adult have to explain it, but I have to say it mean to them for them to get it, I know that they're not meant to be a friend or somebody that's super close to me. So that's been a big conversation and probably relevant for a couple of you in the room right now. But I also have felt for a couple times that was important to share, because I think, like, just because people are used to being spoken to rude or they don't listen in that way, like, I don't need to have somebody yell at me to listen to their boundary. So it makes so much sense, Anna, because you're just making that post about boundaries too, like, yeah, being aware of that also. So there are certain lessons that I'm okay not teaching certain people, but then it's like, when do we look at that from a personal context versus a professional one as well? Those are two kind of different headspaces to be in. So certain things, like, of course, like, if I'm in, like, a client, yeah, exactly. If I'm in a client session, it's a different, like, that's the space to learn, because we're in a metaphorical classroom of sorts, right? Like, I feel like kind of like the college professor that's, like, sitting, you know, on the desk with you or whatever. But yeah, in personal life, it's a little bit different that way too. So, but yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions about sessions, or, like, whatever it is that you feel like you need from a boundary perspective. I'm trying to think if there's any other messages that have felt kind of important to share with you guys. About that. Bye, Adonis. See you. Yeah, I think just take it one step at a time. That's the best way I can explain the energy of right now is like, don't let anybody make you feel like you have to rush, especially yourself, because anything that you're creating now is something that should be made out of a labor of love. Gate of contraction, it's like the contractions hurt because you know it's worth it. I wrote this in Substack the other day. Like when we drink the green juice, it doesn't taste good if we're used to eating Entenmann's chocolate cake for breakfast every morning. And then we learn to enjoy it because it makes us feel good. But there's certain things that at our core, when you learn to trust your gut, the things that feel like they are uncomfortable at first, but we know at our core are good for us after the fact. It doesn't feel good to have an argument with somebody to get them to respect us or to understand that we have to break the bond and let them go away. It doesn't feel comfortable for us to, run a mile, right? When we haven't run and we want to learn how to run a half marathon. But there are certain things that in our core, like the relief that you feel on the other side once you've accomplished that thing, we know that data has proven itself to be true of those things helping us to feel better on the other side. So it's like doing the hard things and knowing how to pick and choose the hard things that you do, or what is subjectively hard for you as an individual. Maybe setting boundaries is hard. It's like the practice that makes it more comfortable over time. And after time anyway, if you're setting more boundaries, you have to set less because the people around you naturally fit into those healthy boxes. So that's the last couple things that I'll leave you guys with. But thank you to my